Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. If you can hear and see my presentation, kindly type in speed in the comment section below, please. If you can hear and see my presentation, kindly type in a high speed in the comment section below. Vivi, bonjour, good morning to you. Good morning, 359. Are we good and can we kickstart, please? I'm trying to ensure that we're on the same page before I begin. And that is, if you can see and hear my presentation, kindly type in speed in the comment section for confirmation's sake, please. It's appropriate that I know that we are all on the same page. Yeah, Pinocchio, good morning. Yay, Carrie, good morning to you. Oh, great. Oh, great. So I can kick on. All right. I welcome you all to yet another session of the X-Trend Speed Live with my humble self, Sheriff Daramola. And I shall be taking you on a journey through the chart where we shall be using price movements and chart patterns to decipher the opportunities that lies before us today. So with no much further ado, let's quickly run into the chart and let's see what's happening at the moment. So the first pair we will be deliberating upon today will be the US oil as usual. Oh, let's go UK oil. And we'll be deliberating on the UK oil. And the UK oil has been bullish since in the last 24 hours. And I want to know if anyone took advantage of that bullish momentum that happened. Remember, we had two scenarios here on the UK oil. That was yesterday. We had two scenarios where we had a major key level at $121, and we had the other key level at $119.40, where we were looking for a breakout retest of structure from either side to take advantage of that trend, of the potential trend. And the first scenario we stated here was that we were expecting price to break down the $119.40, after which a retest of that structure could send price further down. However, as the case is right here, we saw a significant breakout of the key level at $121 to the upside, then a retest of structure, and it was time to take advantage of that bullish momentum. So we saw something like this. We saw a breakout of that key level. We saw a retest of structure into $121 area. Then we had our entry point right above that key level at $121.45. After which we begin to see price climb higher high and higher low as price has come into around $123.60. So at this point in the market now, we are running with about how many pips in profit? We are running with about 150 pips in profit on this one. So what we want to be doing at this point is to move our stop loss to break even. So what I'm trying to say here is this. What we want to be doing at this point is to move our stop loss to break even. And why is that so? If we look left, we can see that we are the area where we identified a double top structure during the course of yesterday's live session. We can see that it's a very strong area for selling momentum, as if we extend that box out, we can see that around $123, $124 area is more or less a very strong selling point for participants in the market since sometime last week. As we can see that every time price comes into the $124 area, we see a sharp rejection of that area by the sellers. As we can see, one here and one even happened in the early hours of today, and we saw price coming back into that area. So what we want to be looking out for right now is to move our stop loss to break even, or probably move it right above the previous low around this area. Personally, I'll just have to extend it so that we can give it more room to play around with. So it's either we move our stop loss to break even, or we move our stop loss to somewhere around this area. Yeah, somewhere around this area. So now, what's our expectation going into the New York session on this pair? So the first one is this. A trend continuation, that means the bullish momentum should continue. And if that's going to happen, we want to see price break out of that supply zone at $124 significantly close above on a 1 hour time frame. Then we want to see price come to do a retest of structure. It might go further down, it might come around this area, but one significant thing we want to be looking out for is a reversal pattern after the retest of structure, and then we can join the trend continuation to the upside. So if we have this kind of setup forming, if it finally happens that way, then we want to be having another entry point around $124.41 to add more positions to this trade. So what this simply means at this point is that we want to break the barrier of that sellers of the selling niche around that $124 to see further confirmations to add more position to our trade. So the first thing I said on this pair is, first of all, we need to move our stop loss to break even, and the second one is that we want to see price break out of that selling niche at around $124 and a retest of that structure with reversal patterns. Then we can actually take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So in that regard, we can now add one more position to this trade. So, and if that happens, then we'll move our stop loss. If we have that breakout of that structure, we have a retest of structure, and then we see price do another breakout of that supply niche, then we want to be adding position and then moving our previous stop loss to somewhere around this area. That is, after the completion of that reversal pattern, we want to be moving the other stop loss to right below wherever the double bottom structure tested going into the New York session. So that is what our expectations are going forward. So that's the first scenario we have here. And the second scenario also is that price might probably reject that zone. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, please. Price could probably reject this area and continue to find lower lows and lower highs. But that doesn't mean that we should join that decline outrightly, as we want to be looking forward to bullish momentum on this one. So it's possible price might come into the key level back again at $121, after which you might see price go to the upside or probably come and do a sharp retest of this trend line that we identified yesterday. Then we will see that bullish momentum to the upside. So there are two scenarios to this, but I also want to mention here that it's very, very important that we cling on to bullish momentum at this point, as the activities that started this week has revealed that we have bullish momentum on this pair for this week. As we can see, during the early hours of this week, we saw our price has been juxtaposing between the $120.4 and $119 plus 30 cent area in the last couple and the first 6-7 hours of this week before we saw that outright breakout. So that outright breakout now is a signal that we will be going bullish for this week. So even if we see bearish momentum, we want to wait and look out for reversal patterns here on the 1 hour time frame to take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So I hope I'm clear on this one, and I'm not sure if you have any questions whatsoever. Koi, good morning to you. Chief, hi, good morning. Alexis, hi, good morning to you. Battle Cruiser, okay. Okay. How Jack, okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Oh, great. So, should we move on to the next pair, please? Can we move on to the next pair? Okay. So, we move on to the US oil. And here on the US oil, we have a similar scenario here on the US oil, where we had that bullish momentum that was established during the course of yesterday's trading session. So if we look at what has happened here, we saw that move. Hold on a second. We saw that move. We saw that bullish move. We saw the breakout of. Allow me to. Sorry. Let's move on to the 4 hours time frame for the so that we can see the key level we just identified here. So we had a key level here at $119.50. And one thing we said here was that we want to be looking forward to a breakout, a retest of that $119.50 to take advantage of a bullish momentum. And the other scenario we played out is that we were looking forward to a breakdown of this neckline area at $118.17 and a retest of structure to sell the pair. However, we had a breakout of that key level at $119.50. Let's go down to the 15 minutes time frame, or most importantly, the 10 or 5 minutes time frame, where we could see things more clearer on how price played out during the So we had price come down into this area. We saw this move. We saw price come down into this area. However, it didn't get back down to the key level we identified earlier and before price pushed up to the upside. So personally, after this move to the upside, we saw price come back into this area, then price continued to climb to the high side. So we missed out on this one and this entry point at this area. And now that we've missed this move, and if you had taken that opportunity, some will have taken the opportunity anyway. That is, after we saw that move to the upside, you look for a double bottom structure, and we have something like this, and then you can actually take that trade from this area going forward. But if you had waited for price to come down into that key level we identified yesterday, then definitely you would have missed that opportunity here on the US oil. So what's our expectation from this point of view going into the New York session? So let us look at this closely and let's see how, if there is an opportunity we can take advantage of in that regard. So moving in to see what has been happening since yesterday on this pair, we can see, hold on a second please. Let's bring out our line chart at this point, and we can see that we have a trend line here which was broken. Hold on, okay, broken and retested. Give me a moment. So this is what we have here at this point. We have price respecting this trend line for some time. That is, since last week we saw price respecting this trend line, though we saw a mini breakout of structure at this point, but price continued to respect until we saw the significant breakout of this move, and then we saw a rejection of this trend line one time. Price came back up. Personally, we are not sure if price is still going to come back to reject this trend line to push price further up. So, but if that does not happen at this point, then definitely, since we're already close to our take profit targets, we could have a structure around this area. Hold on a second, let's bring out my line chart here. So we have a temporary key level to play with as we head into the New York session here. So let's give this a purple. Let's give this a purple here. And one thing we want to be looking out for in lower time frame is a breakout of this, a retest of structure. Then we look for patterns on lower time frame to take advantage of that bullish trend continuation to the upside. So what I'm trying to say here at this point is this: if price does not come back down into this area first and do a retest of this level, then we want to be looking out for a breakout of this area to take advantage, and a retest of structure to take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So our take profit target still remains at $125. And if your buy action is executed right above this area at 122.31 area, then we want to be having our stop loss. Hold on a second, let me give you a visual representation of what our position is going to be like. If this is our take profit target at $125, then we have our stop loss right below the previous low here, and that is how it's going to be with we have around 2,290 pips to catch if price plays out that way. But if price comes back down into this bearish trend line to do a retest of it, then definitely we have more pips to catch. And if we look at that, we'll be having something around over 500 pips to catch if that happens. So this is what we're going to be looking out for as we head into the New York session here on the US oil. Any questions whatsoever? Any questions or further clarifications needed? So I'll be giving like 20 seconds for us to see if there are any questions before I move on to the next pair. Lucas is asking, can you teach me? Can you help me? Well, I think I'm already doing that. If you listen attentively to what I'm saying so far, with time you'll get to understand what I'm talking about. S- s- So, so no questions, then I think I just have to move on from here. So let's look at the next pair that we have here. We have the Euro CHF. I think we deliberated upon this yesterday where we were expecting a bullish momentum. However, price did not go as expected as price continued to find lower lows and lower highs. And at this point in time, I'm looking forward to see price come back down into this key area at 1.03 300, where I want to see a trend continuation to the upside. So what this simply means is this: I want to be seeing price do a reversal pattern within this area. It could be a double bottom structure, whatever reversal pattern that is, a breakout of structure, and price moving to the upside. And why are we expecting a bullish momentum on this one? If we look closely into what has been happening since the beginning of the month, we can see how strong that bullish momentum was when we took price to 1.05150 area. Then we saw a retracement move that appears to be heading into our golden zone area, and we will be looking for a reversal pattern within that golden zone area to take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So for the sake of clarity, it's appropriate that I identify this golden zone area so that we can use this as a yardstick as we head into the New York session. So if we run our Fibonacci retracement tool through the impulse leg, we have a reversal pattern around this area. We're looking forward to a reversal pattern within the golden zone area that is between the 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg. So with this being said, uh, let's delete the so we are looking for price to come into this area, do a reversal pattern where we look for a breakout of structure, a retest into structure, then we look for patterns on lower time frame that will support a trend continuation to the upside. So what this simply means is that we will be having our entry point right around this area, that is after the reversal pattern is formed. We want to be having our entry point around this area. We have something like this. So before I go further, our entry point at this point, because we don't know where and when the retracement leg is going to end. So because we don't know where it's going to end, then definitely we want to just speculate that we have an entry point around this area. But if price goes further down into 1.03100 area like this, then we will be, and we see a reversal pattern within that area, then we want to be having our entry point right at the neckline of that reversal pattern, and then a breakout and retest of that area will trigger that entry point. So let me just place the entry point here at 1.03540. In the meantime, then we have our stop loss right below the structure around this area. That is, if we see price climb, reject this area, then we want to have our stop loss right below this area. However, if price comes further down, probably into this area, then definitely our stop loss will be somewhere around the previous low. If we look left, let me draw this out so that it will be easier for us to see. So we have a previous low around this area. So if price comes into the 78.6% retracement of the previous impulse leg, then we don't want our stop loss to exceed below this area. So that is what our expectation is going to be like on the Euro CHF. We're expecting a bullish momentum and we're still waiting for the retracement phase that began on the 9th of June to end and then evolve into a reversal pattern that can signal a trend continuation to the upside. So on the Euro CHF, we have our take profit target sitting at 1.05500, and for now, with where our entry point is at this point, that's around 200 pips from there. So this is my expectation here on the Euro CHF, and let's see how price plays out as we head into the New York session in a couple of hours. So that is that. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? So can we move on? Okay, in the absence of none, let's move on to the next pair. I think we talked about the USD JPY. No, we didn't, but let me quickly just share with you what my expectations are on the USD JPY. Well, the first thing I observed here on the USD JPY is that we understand that price has been going through an uptrend scenario since the beginning of the month, and I zoomed in into the activities that happened during the early hours of last week trading session, and this is where we are at that point. We saw how price oscillated around this area before we saw the big bang during the course of last week trading session. But the structure we have here, as soon as price tested this high, that is between the $134 and the $135, we begin to see patterns that looks more like a reversal pattern that is yet to be confirmed. So we have something like this. So now, if we zoom into what has been happening since the beginning of the week, we saw how price initially climbed up to test 135.210. Then since then, price has been finding lower lows and lower high. We can see we had a lower low, we had a lower high there, we had a huge expansion from here, and it appears price is doing a retest back into the zone from which it began the week with. So I want to see this area as more of a retest of structure. So I'm going to be looking for a reversal pattern to take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside on this one. So what I did at this point is this. If we look at what has been happening within this area, that is in the early hours of today, we can see those multiple rejections, how strong those wicks are, insinuating that sellers are actually strong at this point. So this area to me right now appears to be a selling niche, and we want to be looking for, and you can see after that rejection we see engulfing candles, two engulfing candles in the last 2 hours took price further down a little bit, and right we here at this point. So now that we are heading to the New York session, what do we need to do to take advantage of this bearish momentum when it finally happens? So the first thing first we want to be doing is to identify a key level that we could work with as we head into the New York session. So if we look left, we can see this area has served as a resistance point, that is a supply level where sellers sit to take advantage from the buyers and push price further down. So we have somewhere here, we have a supply zone, we had a supply zone, then we had a demand zone around this area, we had a demand zone, we had supply, then we had a breakout, then we had another supply here. So if we look at what has been happening in the last let's say 1 week now, we can see that the area at around 134.500 appears to be a very, very significant area that has been a major determinant of price action in the last 1 week. So what do we want to do here at this point? We want to bring out our line chart and we want to connect the series, this area together to make as our key level going forward. So we have something like this. We should have something like this at this point. So we have the key level right here at 134.500. So I want to give this a gold. Let's make it a little bit thicker, and then we label it for the sake of clarity. Key level at 134.500 area. So let's place it right at the top and put at the left hand side. So that's what we have here. So what does the key level do for us at this point? Well, the key level will serve as our yardstick as we head into the New York session. Since we already have a rejection, a retest of structure, that is where price action, the area where price action began, then we saw the breakdown of that key level. Then if we see price do a retest of that key level, the pattern that supports a trend continuation to the downside could be taken. However, this is what we don't want to see. We don't want to see price above the key level, as price running above the key level could push price further up. So going into the New York session, we want to have the key level as our first yardstick, and then our second yardstick will be a trend line in the form of when we connect the series of higher lows that we have here since in the last 1 week. Then we have something like this. We have something like this at this point. And if we look closely into what happened in the early hours of the week, we can see we have price oscillating. We have price breakdown that's bullish trend line, and price has been oscillating around that bullish trend line, giving us signs that a trend continuation is very, very possible, as we are unable to find higher highs around this area. So this gives more confirmation into the selling momentum I'm expecting here on the USD. Another one I have here, I have a temporary one here. So let's have something like this. Now, what we want to be looking out for is this. Personally, I had an entry point right here at 134.246, and I will suggest that you have an entry point here, since if you can't make that entry, have an entry here at 134.012, where we are looking forward to price continuing to the downside, like this and like this to the downside. So where will our stop loss be at this point if we are taking from that area? So we have our stop loss right below the key level with around 40-45 pips, with the take profit target sitting at 132,300 area. So why are we having 132,300 area as our take profit target? If we look left, we can see we had a structure around this area that has one time been a demand zone that pushed price into the 135 area. So that's the reason why we are having our take profit target at 132.3, and let's see how price plays out as we head into the New York session. So this is my expectation here on the USD JPY. So moving on to GBP AUD, I think. Is it GBP AUD, I guess? No. We're still expecting confirmation on that. Okay, we talked about XAUSD yesterday. Yes, I remember. So on XAUUSD, we were expecting a bullish momentum, but unfortunately price did not move as expected, as we saw price break down that bullish trend line, then continue to find lower lows and lower highs. Now at this point in time, this is no longer relevant, so I'll have to delete that. We delete this, and let's see what is happening at the moment when we go to a higher time frame, like the 4 hours time frame. So let's move on to the 4 hours time frame and let's see what's happening here. So moving on to the 4 hours time frame, allow me to delete this. We delete this, we delete this, and we delete this one. So on the 4 hours time frame, price appears to be on the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, and I'm not sure what is going to happen afterwards. Is price going to go down from this point? Are we going to have a breakdown of this area, retest, and price pushing further down? Or are we going to have a trend continuation from this area upward? So this is more or less a very critical point. We need to be more patient, as like I always tell you, if price is oscillating around a trend line, we really need to be very careful, as a breakdown could send price going to the other side. So we really need significant confirmation in that regard. And so how do we get a confirmation? What confirmations are we looking out for to give us clarity that we are going bullish on this one? So first of all, the first thing we want to do is to first of all identify a key level that will be our yardstick going forward. And if we bring out our line chart and go left, we can see this area has been a supply zone. This area has been a demand zone. We had a supply zone here. We had a demand zone here. And we don't have any. The closest one we had was a demand, and the demand around this area. So if we're looking for price to climb up and we're looking for confirmation for price to climb up, definitely we want to be looking for opportunities right above that area that has been a demand level in the past. So if you allow me, let's bring out this rectangle and let's draw out our key level and place it around $1830. So that's around I think $1,830 is most appropriate for our key level. Hold on a second. Okay, we have that. Let's give it a gold color. Let's make it a little bit thicker. Sorry. So we have, sorry for the breaking transmission, please. So we had 1,830 here as our key level heading into the New York session. So now, if we look left, let's delete this. We no longer need this one. Aha. So what we want to be looking out for is a reversal pattern. We have our impulse leg. We're waiting for a reversal pattern around this area, a breakout of structure, which will also share a confluence with the $1,830 area, then a retest of that structure. Then we look for patterns on lower time frame to that support a trend continuation to the upside. So we want to be looking for entry points right above the scale level. We don't want anything right below the key level. So if this bullish trend line is going to hold, then definitely want to see price rally above that key level so we can take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So at this moment, we want to be having our take profit target around this area. And why is that so? If we look left, we can see that this area has been a significant niche for selling opportunity in the past. And because of that, we don't want to take any chances, as if price comes into this area, there is a possibility that price will probably come further down one more time. And if price breaks above that area, then definitely we want to be looking out for a retest of this area to take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So for the meantime, let's aim at $1,870 as our take profit target. We have a entry point right above the key level, somewhere around here. That's around $1,833.324. Then we have something like this, and then we have our stop loss right below the bullish trend line. And then let's see how price plays out during the New York session in that regard. So this is my perspective going forward, and let's see what happens during the New York session. So please, mind you, if we are looking for confirmations, let's go to the 4 hours time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, it appears we are having something that looks more like a double bottom structure here on the 1 hour time frame, but this is yet to be confirmed, as we want to see price break out of that key level, which might also serve as the neckline of the reversal pattern. Then we look for the retest of structure, then look for patterns to join the potential of a rally. So that is that on the gold. Any questions? You heard two voices? How do you mean by you heard two voices? Royal 77. You want Euro GBP? Okay, let's do it. Let's do Euro GBP then. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do Euro GBP. So let's move on to Euro GBP next. Your wish is my command. So for real, we are here on the GBP, on the Euro GBP, and the Euro Pound is more or less a very manipulative pair. Let me put it that way, as we have um, a lot of individual manipulations in the market on the Euro GBP. So we really need to be very careful when we take on this pair. Well, the first thing we'll observe here on the weekly time, on the daily time frame, is that we've been on a long-term bearish momentum as the euro continue to drop against the pound. And if you allow me, let's have our line chart on, and we connect the series of lower highs or higher, okay, lower highs. I think, yes, we have something like this. I think we have a major one here. Hold on a second. We have one here. So let's connect the majority. So we have a major one here, and that's the bearish trend line. The first bearish trend line we could identify here on the Euro GBP. So this is the scenario we have here. And if we look into what has been happening since the beginning of May, we saw our price broke out of that, do a breakout and retest of that bearish trend line to confirm the potential to go to the upside. So this is what we see here. We have a visual representation that looks more like this. We had the first one, we had the breakout of structure, we had the retest of structure, and price continued to find higher highs and higher lows from those points in time. So now with this scenario we have here at this point, if we look left, we could identify a range around this area that we could use to be our guide going forward. The first one is this one around this area. If we look left, we have this. We have this first one here, and then we have the second one around here. So we have this area as our supply zone, and this area, hold on a second, that area has been a supply zone in the past. That is, every time price comes into that area, sellers take advantage and push price further down. So now on the daily time frame, this is what that we'll be using going forward. And before that, considering the fact that since the beginning of March, it appears price have been finding higher lows, and because of that, that shows us that there is a bullish momentum already building up in the market since the beginning of March. As we can see, price continue to find higher highs and higher lows. So definitely, is it possible for us to connect the series of higher lows to give us a bullish trend line. Let's see if that is possible. We have something around here to play with. So that is that. So we have a bullish trend line here. So let's make it a little bit thicker to emphasize the importance of that bullish trend line. So this is what we have here at this point. And then if we look at what has been happening the last 3 days, last 3 trading days, we can see we had bullish candles in the last 3 days, and this has culminated. This appears to have culminated in the breakout of this area at 0.85800 area, which I think should be our key level going forward. So allow me to make this a key level. So let's label it key level at 0.85. Let me see what that is. 85800, I think. Yes. And let's place it on the right hand side so that we can see it on the lower time frame once we move to the lower time frame. So we have it around here. Let's do it like this. So now we can see price has been respecting that bullish trend line, and we have price breakout of the key level at 0.8500, which has been a supply zone in the last if you look left, you can see since November last year, as soon as price gets into this area, we see sellers taking over the market. But it appears price has broken that area, but we are not sure if this is going to be an outright breakout or not, as the daily candles still have about how many hours to close? About approximately 10 hours to close. So what we want to be doing here is we want to scale down to a lower time frame to see how price is playing out at that juncture in the market. Then we can use what is happening around that area to take advantage of any momentum that we see going forward. So now that we have a breakout of the key level around this area, hold on a second. I want to bring this key level close to something that we can see. Okay, let's make it 825. Let's make it 40. Okay, that's good. Good. So this is what we have here now. Personally, from a technical perspective, I want to be looking forward to a retest of structure to take advantage of the trend continuation. So the retest might happen around this area where we look for a trend continuation in that regard. Now, let's connect this. I think 85900 appears to be more or less an area. I think 85900. Yeah. So let's label this 85900. So this is a key level that will be our guide going forward. So going into the New York session, I'm not sure if price will come back down into this area at this point, as we have actually missed that opportunity on the Euro GBP. So if I bring out my line chart at this point, I can identify a temporary bullish trend line around this area. We can also use as our yardstick going forward. So there is a possibility that price could come back down into that bullish trend line. Then we look forward to a trend continuation to the upside. So if we project that, we could have something like this. So if price comes back down into the bullish trend line, then we could have an entry point right above this area with a take profit target of let's see, hold on a second please. Let's go to the 4 hours time frame and let's see what that is giving us. Okay, so we have something like this at this point. In the last 8 hours, we've been having strong bullish momentum, and it's very possible this candle breaks out of that channel. And if it breaks out of that channel, then definitely we want to be looking out for a retest of the channel, or probably price comes back down into somewhere around here before we move to the upside. So personally on this one, it's more or less a very significant strong bullish momentum as a breakout of that 0.85900 has confirmed that we are going bullish on this one. So the most important thing I want us to know here is this: we want to wait for price to retest that key level around that area, and with a stop loss right above, right below, let's say around 0.85640 maximum. We have entry point around this area. Allow me to bring my purple dotted line. We have an entry point around this area right above that area. Then we have take profit target falling within that. So so on the Euro GBP, this is what my expectations are. So let's see how patient we can be on this one. Let's see if we can wait for price to come back into the key level area, where we'll look for patterns that support a trend continuation to the upside. So that is that on the Euro GBP. I think I've made justice to your inquiry. Royal, are you still with us? So so that is that on the Euro GBP. So let me do a quick recap on what we discussed today, and then we call it a day. So the first pair we deliberated on today was the UK oil, and on the UK oil we still expect a bullish momentum in that regard. And the first thing I said here is that we should move our stop loss to break even area, or maximum between the break even and this area at $121.80 to so that we don't go into a loss position at this point. Then the second scenario, the second thing I said here is that this area at $124 appears to be a very strong selling niche. As you can see, as soon as price comes into this area, we see selling momentum from that area. So that is why we are moving our stop loss to break even, to protect our account against any sudden downtrend. Now, going into the New York session, I'm expecting that with the bullish momentum that began this week, we should be expecting price to break out of that selling niche. And if we see a breakout of that selling niche, then we look forward to a retest of structure and look for patterns that support a trend continuation to the upside. And if that happens and we see patterns, we see confirmations, then we want to be moving our stop loss from the break-even area into $123 area, and then the new entry we're going to be having at 124.39, we move our stop loss for that entry to $123 area. So that is what we discussed on the UK oil. Then we moved on to the US oil. Let's go to the US oil. So on the US oil, we have a similar scenario here on the US oil. And like I said, if we for those who are expecting price to come back into the key level, that did not happen, as price just came as far down as $119.87 before it continued to the upside. So if you are expecting price to come to the key level yesterday, we would have missed that opportunity. However, a breakout of this bearish trend line is another thing that we could be looking out for. If we had missed that opportunity here, how can we take advantage of the trend continuation as time goes by? So what I said here is this: we identify a temporary key level here at $122, and I was saying that if we see a breakout of that key level, this key level here, and a retest of structure, then we want to take advantage at the site of a pattern that supports a trend continuation to the upside. However, if the possibility of a downtrend happens, that is, price comes back to do a retest of that bearish trend line, then that will be good for us to take advantage of a bullish momentum if we sight a reversal pattern at this area, and then we should be having more pips to catch in that regard. So on the US oil, we need to be very, very patient, as we want to be looking out for very, very good window to take advantage of that bullish potential that is still building at the moment. So our take profit targets to remain at $125. And if we're having that new entry at 122.14, we have our stop loss right below with around 100 pips, and we aim at a 290 pips take profit target if our entry is right above this temporary key level identified at $121.94. So that is that on the US oil. Then we moved on to the Euro CHF, where I told you I'm still expecting a bullish potential here on the Euro CHF, and I made mention of a buying opportunity zone we identified right here between the 1.028 area and 1.03500 area. And one thing I said here is this: we have observed our price has been bullish since last week, and this is definitely a bullish, this is definitely an impulse leg, and it appears price is doing a retracement, and we want to be looking out for a reversal pattern, probably in the form of a double bottom structure, an inverse head and shoulder, or 1 to 3 reversal pattern to take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So we have our key level here. I think I didn't draw that out the last time. So we have our key level right around this area. Hold on a second, let's have our line chart on. So we have this area serving as our key level, and that's at around 1.03770 area, serving as our key level. So what this simply means at this point is this: if price breaks above this key level, and then we see a retest on lower time frame, we want to take advantage of a trend continuation to the upside. So our take profit targets to remain at 1.0550, and the key, if the key level, if price does not come far down to this area, then our stop loss, if we take an opportunity right above this key level, our stop loss will be right below this previous low. So one thing I want us to understand here on the Euro CHF is that we have to be very, very dynamic, as we don't know how price will play out in the next 24 hours. Since I'm not going to be around with you, that's why I'm giving you different scenarios to play around with, and let's hope that things work out as expected. So this is my scenario here on the Euro CHF, and then let's go to, we went on to the XAU USD, that's the gold pair. We went on to talk about the gold pair here, and I told you that we still want to be expecting that bullish momentum, as price is right on the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame. And here on the 1 hour time frame, it appears that a double bottom structure, which is a strong reversal pattern, is evolving at the moment, though it is not yet confirmed. We saw a sharp rejection of this area. We saw price come to reject our key level at $1,830. Then we saw a sharp rejection of that trend line, and we don't know if price will go further down. But if price continue upward, then a breakout of that neckline, which is also our key level, and retest of structure with patterns that supports the trend continuation, should signal a bullish momentum for us. So we have an entry point right above that key level at $1,833 130 and we have a take profit target at around $1,870, and I explained to you why we have a take profit target around this area, as if we look left, we can see that this area has been a selling niche for selling opportunities in the last 3 to 4 weeks. So this is our scenario on the gold. So let us be patient and let's wait for confirmations to take advantage of that move when it finally happens. Then we moved on to the USD JPY, I guess. Did we talk about the US? Yes, we talked about the USD JPY. And on the USD JPY, though we are on a bullish momentum, I made mention that there is a possibility that we could be having a reversal pattern that could incite a retracement phase that would a retracement phase of that impulse leg we had so far before that trend continuation happens. And so this is more or less a counter trend opportunity, and we already have a breakdown of the bullish trend line that began earlier in the month of June. We had a breakdown, we had a breakdown here. As you can see, price has been oscillating around that bullish trend line since the beginning of the week. and we have this move from the beginning of the week. We had it down here. We had a retest of where the region where price was at the on Monday, and then I'm expecting price to continue to the downside. So to guide our actions going into the new week, into the New York session, I have identified a key level here at 134.500, as we want to be seeing price below this key level, as anywhere above that key level will negate any selling momentum on this one. So for us, we're waiting for a rejection of this area. Well, for me personally, I'm already in this trade, and I think I'm running in loss at the moment because I entered at 134.247. So a rejection of this area, a double top structure or a reversal pattern on this area could confirm a further potential for selling opportunity on this one. So we have entry points here. If you can set your selling order, you can set your sell stop at 134.247, as I'm expecting that this move to this upside might culminate in a rejection of this area that will send price going to the downside. So another entry around 134.023 seems most appropriate at this point, as it's right below that bullish trend line we identified earlier. So that is my expectation on the USD JPY. As then another scenario here is this: if we have price break above the key level and a retest of the key level, then definitely we want to be going bullish on this one. So if price breaks above that key level and retests the key level, we want to have our entry point right above this area. So right above this area would be most appropriate to buy. If price breaks above and retests that structure, then we have where do we have our take profit target? Let's extend this impulsive leg. Okay, so let's have it at 135.950, which is around 120 pips approximately. Then we have the stop loss of this one right below the key level at around 36 pips thereabout, and I think that is good. So if we have a break above of the key level, I'll be opting out of this trade. Break above retest, and we're opting out of this trade to take advantage of a bullish momentum on the USD JPY. I think that's the last pair we talked about before we went on to talk about the Euro GBP. And I think on this note, I would like to call it a day, and let's see how price plays out in the next 24 hours. And we'll be here same time tomorrow to check out what has happened so far and what we need to do afterwards. So I'm excited to be around with you guys today. It has been a privilege and a wonderful moment with you. So I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow on another new journey of what our expectations are going to be. So thank you for being around, and I wish you best of luck